Hi everybody, and welcome to the Scalyr training series on parsers. My name is Joel Mora, and I'm a technical account manager here at Scalyr, and my job is to make sure that our customers are utilizing the product efficiently, effectively, and are properly trained. I'm particularly excited for this video because when I started my journey here at Scalyr 2 years ago, I started off in support. And some of the most abundant questions by far that we got were around parsing. So I hope this video series actually shines some light on some of the more common questions that we've seen. And when I first started learning how to parse, there were actually some pieces to it that seemed quite daunting. Once I got my head around it, it was significantly less daunting. So what I hope that I can do is pass some of my experience in just doing a bunch of different parsers to you all, and I hope that this will make parsing seem less daunting for the average user. So the agenda for this series is, first of all, in this video, we're going to learn why do we need to parse? Why is it important? And then we're going to take a look in the next video, and we're going to look at the foundation of parsing. And this is going to be regular expressions. So if you're not familiar with regular expressions, or you're not familiar with the Scalyr flavor of regular expressions, I recommend tuning into that video. Once we go through the foundation, then we're going to get right into the fundamentals of parsing. And this is going to be with line formats. And you're going to basically learn how to write some basic parsers. Once we've gone through line formats, then we're going to take a look at some of the tools that are available in our tool chest. And the main tools that we are going to go through are going to be patterns, groupers, attributes, and rewrites. And this is going to allow you to take data in, modify it in a variety of different ways by either adding data or removing data or changing data. And then once we've taken a look at some of the tools that we actually have, then we're going to go and take a look at structured data. We're going to take a look at a JSON example and an XML example, but those are going to be more real world examples where we're going to actually have to apply some of the tools that we actually learned. So if you are already a pro with Scalyr and you just want to see how somebody who's done many parsers in their lives thinks about a more complicated structured log line, then I would recommend skipping to that video to just get an idea of that. So without further ado, let's talk about why we parse. So let's talk about why we parse. And there are basically two reasons why we parse. And the first one is because it's going to increase the performance within your account of general searches if you actually search through parse data. And then the second one is it is going to unlock some features. So let's talk about the first thing real quick. Let's talk about the performance increases that you're going to see. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to click into any logs that we have here. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up any of these log lines here. And if we click into a particular log line, one thing that we can see here is this is the message field or the full log line field. And it basically retains the full message. And then the parser itself that we can edit here, and that is defined here, is going to take rules. What it's going to do is split out the different information within the message field into its own column. So in this case, we could see level here, it gets info. In this case, time is going to turn a timestamp, and it's going to retain the timestamp here. And then you can see the same for some of the other ones like currency and such. So let's say, for instance, we wanted to search for currency equals US dollars. So one thing that we could actually do if we have a parsed field here where we have currency equals US dollars, let's just click into that. And then we can see that this built out our search. And now we're searching through this field, currency equals US dollars. So let's do that. And let's bring in that currency value only. And then let's deselect all of these. And we'll set the view as a table. And then what we can see here is the currency is US dollars. And actually in this case, let's just do currency equals star. So now it's just going to bring in all of the different values where currency actually just exists. So we have Canadian and US dollars that are coming in, and Japanese. Yeah, so basically we can see all of the different currencies that are here. And the other thing that we can do is we can click into this particular column, and then we can see everything that is broken out here. So we can get a breakdown of all of the different currencies here. So we could see by far that USD is the number one currency, followed by Canadian. So this is some benefit to actually having that field parsed out, is that we can see this here, which we'll actually get into a little bit more later. But for instance, let's say I wanted to search through currency equals US dollars, like we were doing before. When I actually do this search, all we're doing is we're searching through this singular field, through fields that only retain a count of 3 values. So overall, we're just searching through less data. Significantly less data than we would if we were searching through the whole message field. So now let's take a look at this, and we're just going to search through the message field, and we're going to see how much more data we're actually searching through. So we can see this currency equals US dollars coming into the message field here. And if we didn't have parsed lines, first of all, we wouldn't be able to see the currency value here. And then second, if we wanted to search through that, we would just do free text search through here. And we can see, so this wouldn't be there, but we would be actually searching through this raw log field here. So we're searching, so you can see this is the data set that we're actually searching through. Instead of just searching through a data set with length 3, basically, USD, CAD, JPY, we're searching through this entire message here, and this is for everything in the account. So for this 10,000-ish matching events that are coming through, instead of just searching through 3, we're searching through the whole thing. So Scalyr itself is highly optimized and highly efficient to kind of search through these data spaces, but as you scale, it's really something that you want to take into account. And then the other thing is, if you're starting to build even more complicated searches, this is going to just tax your system a lot more than you would if you actually just parsed the value. So since Scalyr actually works really well with just unstructured data and free text search, this could work to a point. And it certainly works for some people. But as you scale and as you start building more and more complicated dashboards, and let's say, for instance, you want to start doing some more advanced searches, like doing regular expression searches through the data set, you just want to optimize the amount of data that you're searching through because you want to keep scalability in mind. So that is some information on the performance piece of parsing. But what about some of the different features that we're going to actually unlock? So I'm going to show that now. So one thing that we can do, let's just take a look at our currency value again, and let's do currency equals star. And now because we have this currency value actually parsed, you're going to see all of the parsed values for a particular search show up in this facets column here. And if the data is actually parsed, you can click on it here. Like I was saying before, you can actually see a breakdown of the different values that are coming into a particular parsed field. Another thing that we can do here is we can graph the matches by currency. So if I click that, then it's going to take me to my graph page here. And then what we can see is a breakdown of the different currency values. And this is something that you wouldn't be able to do if you were not parsing the data. But now that we actually do have the parse data, we can see US dollar is by far the number one currency that's coming through here. And we can see this because we are parsing the value. So that's one thing, that's parsing strings. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is going to be integer values. So let's start with a blank search again, and let's just move into an access log. And one thing that we have in this access log is this time value that we're parsing out. So in this case, we're basically pulling this last value here and we're assigning that to time. Once we've done that, then everything is going to move really nicely into this column here. And one thing that we can do is we could get a distribution of these now. So if I click into the distribution button here, we can see a histogram built with this value, this time value here. Then we could see some stats coming over here in the right sidebar as well. Other things that we can do is I can do time is greater than, let's say, 400. And then this is going to allow me to search through this data set as well. So that is another feature that is going to be unlocked, is this distribution. The other thing I can do is I could graph values here. And as we saw before, the y-axis was graph of matching events per second for that currency value. Now we have graph of time here. So the y-axis actually changed to this time value. And we can see the average time that's coming in for this 4-hour period. We can actually notice the spikes that are there, and we can zoom into different selections as well and just start using the product as it was intended. But this gives us a lot more visibility into a particular field that you've parsed out. So those are basically the two reasons that it's important to parse your logs. One is because it increases performance due to the minimization of data that we're actually searching through. And then the second one is that it's going to unlock some features, particularly with graphing, that will allow you to get more visibility into your data. So with that, I'm super excited to get into the rest of this training, and I hope to see you in the next video regarding regular expressions. Thank you.